go-to source for authentic news and insight. Be it breaking news, thought-provoking discussions, we are your number one online radio station in Southwest Nigeria. We are dedicated to delivering top-notch content that keeps you informed, entertained, and engaged. Stay connected on Power 365 Radio by following us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook at Power 365 FM, Instagram at Power 365_FM. Power 365 Radio, your source for news and insight. This is Power 365 Radio. Get ready to experience dynamic energy and professionalism. At Power 365 Radio, we pride ourselves on being your go-to source for authentic news and insight. Be it breaking news, thought-provoking discussions, we are your number one online radio station in Southwest Nigeria. We are dedicated to delivering top-notch content that keeps you informed, entertained, and engaged. Stay connected on Power 365 Radio by following us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook at Power 365 FM.
Good morning, dear listeners out there. You're welcome to yet another interesting edition of Newspaper Review, coming to you live from your favorite radio station online that's talking about Power 365 online radio. We are situated here in the city of Ibadan, exactly where you want to. If you want to find us, we are at the hub of media houses. I mean, Felele, Ibadan. Yes, that's where you have most of the radio stations situated here in Ibadan. The top tier, the top-notch radio stations here in Ibadan are situated along this axis. That's to tell you that Power 365 online radio is one of the top-notch online radios here in the city of Ibadan in the southwest. My name is Olamide Adeniji, and I have so many headlines on the Daily Independent, our partner in progress, which I'll be bringing to your hearing pleasure. Okay, let me quickly let me run to River State. We have defeated those troubling us, says Fubara. That's coming from page 7 of the Daily Independent. Fubara is the governor of River State, and as we speak, there is political crisis in the city of PH, in the city of Port Harcourt, and it's a kind of trouble between Fubara and his godfather Nyesom Wike. Nyesom Wike is the current minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Senate steps down committee's investigation indicting federal government. That's on the electricity tariff increase, and that's on page 1 of the Daily Independent. Banks can demand social media handles of customers, court rules. Wow. Okay, so your bank may come to you and say, give us your social media handle. So when they ask, don't get panicked, give them your social media handle. And for those of you that have multiple media handles, well, I don't know how you do that. Federal government begins payment of 1.3 trillion gas supply debt. Labour warns federal government against using pension funds for infrastructure development. And then we also have this on which is saying Anambra sacks 6 directors for certificate forgery. 222 ghost workers. Federal government, states, local government share 1.208 trillion naira April 2024 revenue. Emirates return to Nigeria after 23 months. We are okay. This is also saying mass resignation of commissioners, evidence of Wike's hijack, says G60 lawmakers. And Ekiti Deputy Governor hints on amicable resolution with Kwara. And this is saying INEC calls on security forces to ensure peaceful Edo-Ondo Guba polls. Anambra CP begins lecture series with officers on security. NIMET FUPRE to partner on weather observation, research, e-learning. Convicted kidnap kingpin Evans opts for plea bargain. You are an action governor, Alakija tells Adeleke. Pinheiro charges new Nanta leadership to foster growth in emerging travel sector. We've uncovered alleged sponsored protest plots against Wabote Silva. All right, so these are some of the stories I'll bring to you. Just stay tuned. Let me quickly take a break. When I return, I'll bring you more stories. Stay tuned. So you're welcome back. The first story I'll be bringing to you is on page 1 of the Daily Independent, and it's one that calls for concern, which says Senate steps down committee's investigative report indicting federal government. The Senate has stepped down the report of its investigative committee on the privatization of the power sector, which indicted which indicted the federal government over electricity tariff increase. The upper chamber's decision followed a point of order by the vice chairman of the Committee on Gas, Senator Jimo Ibrahim, APC Ondo South, which called the attention of the lawmakers to a decision of a court on the matter. The Federal High Court in Kano had on May 3 issued an order restraining the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and the Kano Electricity Distribution Company from implementing the new electricity tariff for Band A customers. All right, so you may pick a copy of the Daily Independent to read more on that. Banks can demand social media handles of customers, court ruling. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has ruled that a Central Bank of Nigeria regulation which requires banks to demand and collect the social media handles of their customers as part of the standard Know Your Customer procedure is not a breach of the right of privacy. Justice Nnamdi Dimgba struck out a suit filed by a Lagos-based lawyer, Chris Eke, seeking declaration that the regulation as contained in the section 6 subsection A subsection 4 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Customer Due Diligence Regulation 2023 is undemocratic, unconstitutional, null and void. Alright, so you may pick a copy of the Daily Independent to read more on that quite interesting story. Federal government begins payment of 1.3 trillion naira gas supply debt. The federal government on Thursday disclosed that it has commenced the payment of the 1.3 trillion naira gas supply debts in the Nigerian electricity supply industry. Okay, you may pick a copy of that story. It's also on the front page of the Daily Independent. Labour warns federal government against using pension funds for infrastructure development. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress have written a Save Our Soul letter to the federal government cautioning it against deploying funds domiciled in the National Pension Fund to drive economic and infrastructure projects across the country. The letter, which was copied to the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Minister of Labour, Head of Service, among other top functionaries, lamented that the plan by government to deploy part of funds is wrong. Okay, you may check that out on page 1. It spills down to page 7 of the Daily Independent. Alright, let me quickly go to page 6 where Fubara is saying that okay, so just a minute. Just a minute. I'm looking for that story where Fubara said he has actually shot those who are troubling them in River State. He has shut them up. All right, when I see it, I'll bring it to you. PDP chieftain says JAMB has lost relevance, urges scrapping. Chief Sonny Omosoke, a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party and former Delta State gubernatorial hopeful, has called for the scrapping of the Joint Admission Matriculation Board, describing it as a money-making machine for the government at the expense of thousands of prospective students. You may read more of that story. It's on page 5 of the Daily Independent. All right, so okay, let me go to page 7 where the story on River State is, and that is saying we have defeated those troubling us, says Fubara. River State Governor Sir Siminalayi Fubara has said that his administration is that he has defeated those troubling his administration as they sleep with their two eyes open. He also acknowledged with delight the assurance of brotherly support from the Ijaw Youth Council, urging the Ijaw nation to key into the ongoing celebration of the liberation the state is enjoying now. Governor Fubara gave the assurance while addressing the national and state leadership of the Ijaw Youth Council, who were on solidarity walk to Government House in Port Harcourt on Thursday. Okay, that's an interesting read. And then let me bring this one to you too. Emirates returns to Nigeria after 23 months. 23 months after suspending operations to Nigeria, Emirates Airlines has indicated its readiness to return direct flight services from its base in Dubai to the country. The airline, in a statement by its media consultant in Nigeria, said that it would resume flight services from October 1, 2024. The airline had, in November 2022, suspended flights operations to Nigeria over its failure to repatriate the $35 million revenue trapped in the country. Alright, you may pick a copy of the Daily Independent to have a read of this. Right, so let me also bring you this. Federal government, states and local government share 1.208 trillion naira April 2024 revenue. Okay, let me quickly take a short break. When I return, I'll bring you more stories. Alright, you're welcome back. Federal government, states, local governments share 1.208 trillion naira April 2024 revenue. A total sum of 1.208 trillion naira April 2024 Federation account revenue has been shared to the federal government, states, and local government councils in the country. According to a statement by Bawa Mokwa, the Director, Press and Public Relations Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, the revenue was shared at the May 2024 meeting of the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FAC, held in Abuja. You may read more of that story. It's on page 6 of the Daily Independent. Anambra sacks 6 directors for certificate forgery, 222 ghost workers. Anambra State Government has sacked 6 directors for certificate forgery and 222 ghost workers in the local government system. Governor Charles Chukwuma Soludo had taken a hard look at the rot in the Anambra local government system and ordered an audit of the staff. Okay, you may pick a copy of that story. It's a sad one, but it's also a good one. At least removing the rotten egg amongst the good ones. That's on page 6 of the Daily Independent. You may pick a copy and read more on that. Alright, so this next one is saying Tinubu's government has shown transparency in financial dealings. Vice President Shettima. Vice President Kasim Shettima has said the President Bola Tinubu-led federal government has performed well in its fiscal responsibilities and management as the administration maintains transparency in financial dealings. He cited the recent ranking by global credit rating agency Fitch, which upgraded Nigeria's credit outlook to positive, describing it as a reflection of increasing confidence in the nation's economy. Okay, read more of that. It's also on page 6 of the Daily Independent. Alright, let me fly quickly to the next story. Crypto exchanges begin the listing of Naira from platforms. Following the directives of the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Securities Exchange Commission that the Naira be delisted from peer-to-peer trading platforms, the exchanges have begun implementing same. Checks indicate that the Naira has been removed as a flat currency option for transaction on some platforms, and the exchange has already begun the necessary adjustments to its technology to accommodate the delisting of the Naira as soon as practicable. Alright, pick a copy of that. It's a good one for the Naira. Mohbad's Death Foundation offers 50 million Naira bounty for information on killers. African Television and the African Foundation for Justice have announced a 50 million Naira reward for information leading to the arrest and prosecution of Mohbad's killers. Mohbad, whose real name is Ilerioluwa Aloba, died on September 12, 2023 at the age of 27. Okay, then this is also an interesting read. We brought you this news yesterday. Former chairman of Oyo State Park Management System, PMS, Lamidi Mukaila, popularly known as Auxiliary, has been paraded by the Oyo State Police Command. Recall that the State Police Command months ago declared Auxiliary wanted over his alleged involvement in series of armed robbery, kidnapping, and murder cases in Oyo State. Okay, so that's also on page 8 of the Daily Independent. All right, so this political article. Is the governor now holding the aces, talking about Wike and Fubara. Everyone is so concerned about Wike and Fubara. Rivers crisis, why the odds are against Wike. Okay, well, we are here watching with keen interest. We really hope that Fubara knows what he's doing. And then this is saying national minimum wage. NECA urges labor to return to negotiation table. Following the walkout of the labor leaders during the meeting of the National Minimum Wage Committee, the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association has called on organized labor, the Nigerian Labour Congress, and the Trade Union Congress to return to the negotiation table. Okay, that's a good advice to the NLC, Organized Labor, NLC, and TUC. Federal government to empower entrepreneurial NYSC members with 50 billion naira. Wow. The federal government has announced plans to empower at least 5,000 members of the National Youth Service Corps NYSC and with 50 billion naira, 10 million naira each to fund their entrepreneurial ventures after they complete the NYSC. That's a huge one. Then this is saying federal government partners AU to tackle feed further shortages in livestock industry. All right. How harvesters are promoting agribusiness in Africa, or Lagbegi Odende. Then this is saying Lasso Sema plans big for 2024 International Museum Day. Egypt Museum opened doors for free to celebrate International Museum Day. Okay, International Museum Day is the International Museum Day is around the corner, I guess. So it's coming up. Okay, I'll get the date and then I'll tell you. Okay, so this next one is saying absence of high-profile hotels facilities denying Enugu high-profile events. Nigeria seeks collaboration among ECOWAS states to develop tourism sector. Be good ambassadors in Holy Land. Vice President urges as first Nigerian flight departs. The NACOM pledges to build on the successes of predecessors. And this is saying Kwesu seeks speedy release of white paper for NCEBED implementation. ECOWAS EU strategize on road to Schuman Forum. Task force on durable solution commences process of resettlement of IDPs. And then this is also saying Benue Deputy Governor's wife, NUG Zone D, congratulates Governor Alia on 58th birthday. We'll educate you on pension fund investment options, group tells Atiku. Oyebanji's alleged romance with Fayose worries APC stakeholders. That's on the political scene. Tinubu advises against allowing mineral deposits outside Nigeria without value addition. Ogun traditionalists seek support of police in combating crimes. Akwa Ibom PDP targets over 6 million membership strength ahead of 2027. Why I offered scholarships to 400 indigent students, Senator Anga. And this is saying Wosu, Reverend Father Buzuwa kidnapped in. Okay, a Reverend Father has been kidnapped in Anambra State. That's another worrisome development. I hope the police and all security operatives will be able to find solution to this and rescue the poor priest. And then this is saying, I remember I brought you the story that federal government begins payment of 1.3 trillion gas supply debts. And then let's quickly go to the sports page or the sports corner. We want to welcome Finidi with South Africa Angola wins. That's coming from Aino. Aino is our defender, Olaino, Super Eagles defender. And this is saying MPFL Rivers United will bounce back stronger. That's coming from Ken Chuku. 10th Nigeria Pitch Awards. Finidi Osime Obasoge Ndidi Ajibade Soname vie for honors. ITTF African Cup. I never gave up on my dream. That's coming from Quadri. Bafana targets victory in Nigeria, says goalkeeper. Alright, thank you very much for staying tuned. My name is Olamide Adeniji. That's where we'll call it a day on today's newspaper review. Stay tuned as we bring you Latino Weroing. And then after Latino Weroing, will come up, will be Jimo Oloyin from our stables here. Until you hear from me again, do have a blessed day. Goodbye.
This is Power 365 Radio. Get ready